Hi guys, and welcome back to the channel. For those who are new, my name is Phil. I'm the Ordinary Watch Guy. I'm very ordinary, but the watches are always special. One of the things I really like to do is to get into the major cities, check out the boutiques with you, and get in and out of some of the very special places. So this week I'm going to take you to London. This is a great reason to subscribe, by the way, because I put a poll out in the community tab on my channel. Where should I go next? And the resounding winner was London, and that's why I went there. And I totally overlooked London, even though it's like an hour away on the train from me, which is a bit silly really. But anyway, this week we're in London. So if you want to have your say on which city I should go to next, like, subscribe and comment, guys. The interaction really works. So this is the first of a two-part special from London. And in this video, you're going to see Breguet. I'm going to force myself through the door at Hublot for quite a surprising experience. Stay with it, guys. I promise it's worth it. And then moving on into part two, we're going to hit Cartier. We're going to go into IWC, briefly into Grand Seiko, and then finally round off the trip with a visit to the Longines boutique. So if you're ready for London, let's get into it. So first, I'm going to take you to the new Bond Street, Old Bond Street area of London. This incredibly sort of luxurious retail street is divided between Old and New Bond Street. And if you're in London, this is where you want to be in Mayfair to really hit the incredible boutiques. Aim for Piccadilly Circus and you're a short walk away from some of the most amazing watch outlets that you could hope to visit. And we're talking Breguet, we've got Patek Philippe, we've got Cartier, Tiffany & Co, Blancpain, Omega, Rolex, and just some amazing ADs as well, like Mappin and Webb. Their flagship store is down there too. There's so many great places to get thrown out of. If you're a fashion hound too, you have all the major designers in that area: Gucci, Hugo Boss, Yves Saint Laurent, Prada, Ralph Lauren, TK Maxx. Literally everybody's down there. So I wasn't planning on visiting Breguet, but I found it, and I wasn't just going to walk straight past. I've got to say, I just couldn't walk by Breguet. I would say that of all the boutiques that I've been in, for some reason I felt more intimidated on the doorstep of Breguet than the others. It felt intimidating to enter, and I can't say why exactly. And actually, when I got in there, the service, the knowledge, it was incredible. It was so friendly. They were so friendly in there. I started by looking at the 20, which is the watch that they note with the Roman numerals XX. This is one of the most obtainable watches in the Breguet range, actually. But that's not exactly calling it a pop swatch, you know what I'm saying? The exact version is the Type 20 chronograph 2067. This is an £18,000 watch, and you know, nobody ever accused Breguet of being an accessible brand. It feels very special in the hand though. Beautifully constructed in stainless steel. It has a unidirectional bezel. This is a flyback chronograph with a small seconds complication and a date complication snuck away there between 20 and 25 minutes past the hour. It's a 1950s pilot watch developed for the French Air Force, and with it being in military service, the Breguet name was removed from the dial of those issued in military service, and instead they just affixed the XX logo instead, and that's how it became known as the 20. Yeah. Don't know what to say, Captain. I broke and lost the watch. Can I have another? There's two variations of the watch in the retail sphere now. You've got the civil watch and you've got the military watch. And the civil is noticeably more glossy and less utilitarian. The military looks more like a typical tool watch offering a kind of got more of a German Flieger watch vibe. Not quite as utilitarian as the classic Flieger watch, but it's far more in that direction. The version that I looked at was from the military range, 60 hours of power reserve, a 42mm dial, 14.1 millimeters thickness on the case, and 100 meters of water resistance. Everything as you would expect, really, for this type of a watch. The black dial offsets the hands and numerals, which are in gold. It's a great looking watch, very traditional, quite conservative really in taste, and you can imagine it being on the wrist of a sporting gentleman in a private members club somewhere in Mayfair. If I'm being honest, I'm not sure that this watch is really me, and I didn't find myself wishing that I had the funds to leave with it. But this being said, it's a fantastic watch, in the hand, and I'd be very impressed to see one out there in the wild. The next watch that I looked at in Breguet, I went big, and I had a look at the beautiful Classique Tourbillon 3797 in 18 karat rose gold. Rose gold is really pushing at the door right now, and the absolute refusal of gold in favour of stainless steel is definitely softening. Perhaps it was never the case in the sphere of high horology, but certainly platinum on white gold seemed to be getting the nod, and now yellow gold is starting to edge its way back in, and the warmth that gold brings to this particular watch, in my opinion, really gives it some benefit in the form of extra colour in that gold case. The pale silvery guilloche dial is exquisite on this watch. It offers the complications of day, month, hour, small seconds, a perpetual calendar, and of course the tourbillon axis at a quite traditional 6 o'clock position on the dial. The caliber 558 QP2 movement is manual winding with a power reserve of about 50 hours, and watching it purr is quite something else. I have to draw comparisons to the Vacheron Constantin Perpetual Calendar Tourbillon that I saw roughly a fortnight ago, another beautiful watch. We're up here now at a very rare level of watchmaking indeed, and I think very few of us would ever be lucky enough to own something of this kind of quality and caliber. The casework is evocative of a Victorian piece of jewellery, the coin work of the edging, the decorative use of screw heads, which are laid in perfect, symmetrical fashion. The brown leather strap is fastened via a rose gold butterfly clasp that is decorated with the capital B from the Breguet logo. It's all absolutely wonderful. At around £180,000, it probably needs to be fair, for the price of a small house. I mean, this watch needs to be pretty perfect, but it's really very hard to say how it isn't. At this level, we're talking in terms of taste and the subjective area of what you find to be sublime. In any mechanical regard, this watch is flawless. So moving along, only one door down, I found Hublot. No two companies juxtapose each other in quite the way that Hublot and Breguet do. Breguet are estimated to turn over about $189 million a year. They lay claim to being the oldest watch brand in the world, dating themselves back to the 18th century, and even made a watch for Marie Antoinette, which sadly she never got to collect because she was executed in October 1793 before the watch was ready. She would have got the call several years later had she been around to receive it. And when I say the call, I mean the note or carrier pigeon or something. Breguet are now the jewel in the crown of the Swatch Group, and they make about 25,000 watches a year. But Breguet are symbolic of true horological sentiment over cash, and they're a guardian of traditions and values. Their founder, Abraham Louis Breguet, was born in 1747, and he's been referred to as the Leonardo da Vinci of watchmaking, and he's credited with inventing the tourbillon. In fact, he's got a cool nickname of being the godfather of tourbillon. Hublot, by comparison, are brash, they're young, they're stuffed with cash. Founded in 1980, they're now associated with fusion design concepts, skeletonized pieces, huge prices. You go to Hublot for wrap and sports star pieces, your crypto bro cash purchases, and you want to cram all your tasteless affluence onto your wrist in neon so that everyone can see it while you walk past a homeless person. The brand seems less about the movement and more about the marketing and the statement. Huge pieces, refuse to be hidden under a cuff. Nothing is traditional. Nobody wears a suit. Hublot chooses tennis stars, sprinters, footballers as brand ambassadors. Breguet doesn't have brand ambassadors. I think probably because their sponsorship deal with Marie Antoinette didn't quite work out so well. You're not presented with wood panelling. It's modern abstract art that's been commissioned to celebrate the range. A huge Hublot clock is on the wall, and I was told that I could buy it for $4,000. I think if I made an offer on the couch, it could probably be negotiated. I was told not to film by the doorman, but the sales assistant did allow me to film the piece that I chose to look at. I didn't go for a purple sapphire Big Bang tourbillon, which incidentally is the same price as the Breguet Classic tourbillon at £181,000. I asked to see a comparatively modest classic fusion in titanium blue at £6,800. This is a piece that I could genuinely aspire towards, and being fair to Hublot, I'm not going to shit all over it in this review. The watch itself is actually quite nice. I looked at the automatic version. I understand there's a quartz version out there. The dial is brushed blue, very nice. It catches the light in a beautiful way. The outer titanium case is really nice. The screw head alignment seems a bit random. They're not all turned to the same point, as it were. But I'm not seeking perfection at this price point. The watch is slim. The rubber strap is soft and comfortable. It fits well and it's easy to adjust. I could wear this watch comfortably all day. It's a well-presented entry to the Hublot brand. The second-hand sweeps nicely, and this is clearly the most polite offer that Hublot can give. Believe it or not, I can actually understand why this watch sells, and I can understand why, Hublot are making money. What I find problematic is that it just doesn't feel like a £6,800 watch to me. I don't know what the margin is on this watch, but it feels like a lot. £6,800 is a very hot price point right now. It's very well contested, and later on we'll talk about what I saw in Cartier, but there's no way that this gets the nod over a Cartier Santos de Cartier in medium for me. We'll talk later about a tank that I saw for $3,300. That's an absolutely iconic piece for less than half the price of the Hublot, and wearing it would make me feel incredible. Wearing the Hublot is still a stigmatizing experience, and I think watch enthusiasts will still look at you a certain way for doing it. I think everyone knows that you're paying for the name and for the branding. It feels like a fashion watch on hard steroids. You can opt for a Christopher Ward the 12 in Glacier Blue in the 40mm size on a rubber strap for £850 without having the Christopher Ward to lay next to it, I suspect that you might struggle to find the difference in quality and feel of those watches, and presentation. In fact, I don't think you'd be upset with yourself for saving that £6,000. So thank you for watching my little tour so far. I'm coming back with part 2, which contains Cartier, IWC, quick duck into the Grand Seiko boutique, and rounding off at Longines. But let me know in the comments at this stage if you're Team Breguet or Team Hublot. Where are your preferences at? What would you spend your £181,000 on? Don't forget to like and subscribe, hit the bell for my updates. If you're waiting for part 2 to drop, why not catch up on my visit to Paris or my visit to the boutiques of Milan, which are on screen for you now. I'll catch you in the next video. Bye for now.